They said Lagos never sleeps. And maybe it was true, because even in the quietest nights, when the wind rested and the sky went dark, something was always awake, a whisper, a secret, a heartbeat beneath the hum of the city. On the island, where the street lights glowed like melted gold, a young woman named Tomowa lived her life as if the world itself was a game she could never lose. She was 26, beautiful in a way that made people stop talking. Her skin shimmered like cocoa butter under sunlight, her eyes sharp and searching, her laughter soft and addictive. When she walked into a room, she carried the smell of expensive perfume and danger. But behind that smile lived something else, hunger. Not for food, not even for love. But for power, for security, for that thing Lagos promised every dreamer, a life that glittered, even if it burned. Tomowa had 7 lovers. 7 men, all rich, all deceived. The first was Connor, a real estate developer who called her my piece. He paid her rent in Lekki and filled her wardrobe with dresses that could buy a small car. The second, Chief Adibeo, was old enough to be her father. He sent her money every Monday, for upkeep, and swore he would leave his wife one day. The third, Toby, was young, charming, and loved her genuinely. But love couldn't pay bills, so she kept him like a spare tire, just in case. The fourth, Mr. Daniel, a banker, never smiled. But he adored her silence and often wired her money just because. The fifth, Bamadil, a married pastor who told her God had shown her to him in a dream. The sixth, Jide, an oil worker from Port Harcourt, only in Lagos twice a month, but generous enough to make up for the days he was away. And the seventh, Yinka. Oh, Yinka. He was the strangest one of them all. He was quiet, mysterious, and rich in a way that didn't look real. He wasn't like the others, no loud clothes, no noisy car, no Instagram pictures showing off his wealth. He said little, smiled less, and his eyes, always calm, carried something heavy, something old. They met at a lounge in Victoria Island. That night, Tomowa had gone there with her friends, wearing a gold dress that hugged her like light. She noticed him sitting alone, sipping something dark and watching the stage where a woman sang old Yoruba songs. When their eyes met, Tomowa felt seen. Not admired. Not desired. Seen. It unsettled her. But that night, he approached her, not with the usual flattery but with a simple question. Do you ever get tired of pretending? She laughed, unsure if he was flirting or insulting her. But he just smiled and said, I like your eyes. They tell stories you don't say. That was how it began. After 3 months of seeing each other, Yinke gave her a gift. It was a phone. But not just any phone, it was black. Completely black, matte, smooth, and cold to the touch. No logo, no brand name, nothing. Even the buttons were dark, as if the device had been carved out of night itself. He gave it to her one evening after dinner. This is just for us, he said softly. No one else has this number. When I call, answer. She smiled, thinking it was romantic, mysterious, even sexy. She didn't know it was the beginning of something her heart could not survive. The first time the black phone rang, Tomowa was half asleep. It was past midnight. The city was quiet, the only sound the far hum of generators and the soft splash of rain on her balcony. The phone glowed faintly, no ringtone, just vibration, steady and deep, like a pulse. When she picked it up, the screen showed unknown voice. She frowned. "Hello," she whispered. For a moment, there was only silence. Then, a whisper, faint and cold. "Tomowa." Her heart jumped. "Yinka. Is that you?" No answer. Just breathing. Slow, heavy breathing, like someone standing right behind her. "Who is this?" she asked again, her voice shaking. The line cut off. She sat there for minutes, staring at the phone. The air in her room suddenly felt heavy, like something invisible was watching. She turned off the light and tried to sleep. But the whisper echoed in her mind until dawn. The next morning, she called Yinka. He answered on the first ring, his voice calm as always. "Good morning, sunshine." "Yinka," she said slowly, "did you call me last night?" "No," he replied. "Why?" She told him what happened, expecting him to laugh or tease her. But he didn't. Instead, he said, "Don't worry. Sometimes spirits follow beauty." She laughed uneasily. "I beg, don't start." But later that day, she noticed something strange. The black phone no longer showed the time, the network bar, or the battery sign. Only a blank screen, waiting. She decided to keep it off. But that night, at exactly 12 a.m., it turned itself on. And it rang. This time, the voice was clearer. Still low, still not Yinka. "You took what is not yours." Tomowa froze. "What? Who is this?" "Return it, before it's too late." The line went dead. Her heart pounded. She looked around her dark apartment, everything was still. Then she remembered something, a dream she had a few nights earlier, standing in the middle of a dark lagoon, surrounded by faceless figures whispering her name. She shook her head. "It's just stress," she told herself. Nothing more. But deep down, fear began to grow roots. In the following days, her lovers began to act differently. Chief Adebayo stopped answering her calls. Connor suddenly told her he was taking a break. Even Toby, her sweet boy, said she had changed, that her smile no longer reached her eyes. It was like something about her was repelling love. And then, one night, as she stood before her mirror, brushing her hair, she saw a reflection that wasn't hers. It was her face, but older. Sad. With hollow eyes. The brush fell from her hand. When she blinked, it was gone. She rushed to grab the black phone, it lay silent on her bed. But the moment she touched it, the lights flickered. A voice whispered again, not from the phone this time, but from somewhere close. "You took what is mine." Tomowa screamed. She went to Yinka's apartment the next morning. He lived in an old building on Bodilen, hidden behind tall trees. Inside, it smelled of incense and old wood. She told him everything, the calls, the voices, the reflection. He listened quietly, then stood up and walked to a wooden chest. From it, he brought out an old black cloth, embroidered with strange symbols. "This phone," he said softly, "is not an ordinary phone." Tomowa frowned. "What do you mean?" "It was crafted by a priest in Ife," he continued. "It connects to the realm between the living and the dead. It's used to communicate with lost spirits." She stepped back. You gave me a spiritual phone. Yinka, are you mad? He looked at her with sad eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you. I wanted to see if you were strong enough. Strong enough for what? For love that survives even death. That was when she noticed something. Yinka never ate. He never drank. And whenever she looked closely at him in daylight, his shadow never seemed to fall right. A chill crawled up her spine. Who are you, Yinka? He smiled faintly. Someone who died loving a woman like you. Her lips parted. What? Her name was Monarchy. She used me. She took my wealth, my heart, my soul. When I died, I swore to find her spirit to make her love me back, even if it meant eternity. He stepped closer. His voice lowered. You remind me of her. Too much. Tomowa's heart thudded. You're dead. He didn't answer. He only said, answer the next call. Then you'll understand. That night, Tomowa sat in darkness. At exactly midnight, the phone rang. This time, when she answered, it wasn't a whisper, it was a chorus. Voices, male voices, crying, laughing, groaning. Tomowa. You used me. You took everything. She recognized them, the voices of her lovers. Chief Adebayo, Connor, Bamedir, even Toby. Each one speaking over the other, accusing her, haunting her. She threw the phone across the room, but it didn't break. Instead, it slid across the floor, still glowing faintly. You took from us, the voices said. Now you must give back. Then, silence. Her heart raced. She ran to her door, but it refused to open. Something heavy pressed against it, like invisible hands holding it shut. From behind her came a whisper. Yinka's voice. Now you see, my love. The past never dies. When dawn came, Tomowa went to a church in Suralia. She hadn't prayed in years, but that morning, she knelt and cried. A woman in white, the prophetess, approached her gently. Her eyes looked old, seeing beyond flesh. Child, she said, you are surrounded by shadows of those you deceived. They call for balance. Tomowa sobbed. What do I do? You must confess your wrongs. Return what you took, not just money, but hearts. Tomowa nodded, trembling. She left that church determined to make things right. But fate had other plans. She started with Toby, the only one who truly loved her. He met her at a cafe. She tried to apologize, to tell him everything, but he looked at her with tears in his eyes. You think sorry can fix what you broke? I lost myself loving you. He stood up and left. When she returned home, the black phone was waiting on her bed, glowing. A message appeared on its screen. You cannot run from what you created. That night, all the mirrors in her house cracked at once. This time, the voice wasn't angry. It was sad. Tomowa, why did you choose them over love? She recognized it, Yinka again. You said you wanted power, he whispered. But love is power. You just never believed it. She cried. What do you want from me? To remember me. The light in the room flickered. For a moment, She saw him, standing by the window, dressed in white, his face soft and glowing. "Let me rest," he said. "Tell the truth. End the cycle." Then he was gone. The next day, Tomowa gathered all the courage she had and recorded a video on her Instagram page. In it, she confessed everything: the lies, the deceit, the men she used. She spoke through tears, saying she no longer wanted to live in darkness. The video went viral by morning. People called her names, insulted her, mocked her. But she didn't care. For the first time, she felt light. That night, when she lay on her bed, the black phone rang one last time. "Tomowa," said Yinka's voice softly. "You did well." She smiled weakly. "Can I rest now?" "Yes. But you must choose." "Choose what?" "To live and carry this memory forever. Or to join me and forget the pain." She closed her eyes. Her heart slowed. Tears slipped down her face. "I want to live," she whispered. The phone went silent. Then, for the first time, it shattered into dust. When she woke the next morning, sunlight filled her room. The mirrors were whole again. And on her table lay a single white rose, fresh, glowing, with a note beside it. "Love is not a game. But even in your darkness, you found the light." Months passed. Tomowa left Lagos. She moved to a quiet town by the coast, where the waves whispered instead of the city noise. She began to teach children, tell stories, and live simply. Sometimes, when the moon was full, she would hear a soft whisper in the wind, calling her name, not in anger, but in peace. And she would smile, whispering back, "Rest well, Yinka." Because she finally understood. The black phone was never about love or punishment. It was about truth. And truth, no matter how it comes, will always call you until you answer. Please let us know where you are watching from. Leave a comment below. We love to hear from you. Please like the video and share with your family and friends. Please also subscribe to this channel so we can bring more videos to you. Thanks for being part of us.